You're listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. Hear from those currently on the force while getting an insider view from what it takes to become a law enforcement officer.
Welcome to episode 3 of On the Road, a law enforcement journey. Today I'm going to talk more about physical preparation for the MCOLS fitness test, not necessarily the academy. Them two are prepared for in two different ways. Later today I'm also going to have an episode. I know I was supposed to have my first guest. Again, with the nature of law enforcement, duty takes precedence, so that will be done later today, and then I will have that uploaded tomorrow, and then I will try to have a new guest on next week. Alright, so let's talk about the MCOLS physical fitness test. As we mentioned before, it consists of the vertical jump, 60 seconds of sit-ups, 60 seconds of push-ups, and the half-mile shuttle run. The big thing that hurts people, and I'm not even saying law enforcement, but just from all of my time working with athletes, and this is even at the tactical level, is not giving yourself time to prepare. You can't just go, I have a month, I can do this. You might be able to pull it off, but it might come at a cost of you being injured or not being able to perform optimally, and it's going to catch up with you long run. So if you're going to go through the academy, for instance, and you haven't done any type of training, you're probably not going to, I'm not going to say probably, you're not doing yourself a favor. So time to prepare is the biggest thing. If you have a month, I'll give a little bit of advice on how to work around that, but I would suggest at least 3 to 4 months of training even before you take your physical fitness test. I mean, ideally you'd even take 6 months or longer to prepare for everything. So vertical jump, what is it? As we discussed in prior episodes, it is the lower body power exercise. How do we improve it? Strength training and plyometrics, which are variations of jumps. So a vertical jump, to be able to jump higher, I need to be able to put more force in the ground. Well, one way to do that is through jumping, but you're only going to limit yourself on how much progress you're going to see. When I'm doing just plyometrics by themselves, I'm pretty much just training my ligaments and my tendons, so I'm not increasing the amount of muscle recruitment to be able to generate higher forces. So that's where strength training becomes so important. Now, if you ask what type of exercises should I be doing, well, look at the vertical jump. It is exactly like a squat pattern or like a trap bar deadlift type of pattern. So those are the exercises I would recommend, because those are going to have direct carryover to your ability to perform the vertical jump. We'll touch on the other ones here too. All the other events, so your sit-ups, your push-ups, and the half-mile shuttle run, are all endurance. And here's the big important part here. Endurance is specific to the event, meaning I can't go and knock out bench press for 60 seconds and expect to have any kind of carryover to my push-ups. You might have a little bit, but you need to practice push-ups to get better at the push-ups, because that endurance is specific to that exercise. Same with the sit-ups and same with the running. You're not going to be able to go do a 2 to 6 mile jog and then go knock out the half-mile shuttle run. It's not going to happen. You still might pass it, but you probably could have done better had you actually practiced that event specific to how it's supposed to be. Now, that being said, you need to train those events smartly. Does not mean maxing out every week or maxing out every time you go into the gym to try to get better. Injuries are going to happen because of doing that. I've seen it many times in the Army, and I know it's very prevalent in the law enforcement community as well. So, going back to that type of training, fatigue sets in, all right? Why is fatigue important? Well, it leads to overtraining, but also if you're already a law enforcement officer or you have another job as you're preparing for the police academy, that fatigue is going to affect you for the rest of the day. If you're going to burn yourself out and you can't perform your job, or your cognitive function is declined because you ran yourself into the ground, it's not really setting yourself up or your colleagues or your company that you work for up for success. So be smart about that. What you do affects your entire body for the rest of the day. training to failure is when injuries happen. You see it many times. We do it for the PT test on the push-ups. So you got 60 seconds you're cranking out, and we'll try to get as many as we possibly can. But that is a slippery slope because technique starts to go. You can watch it. Other people do it during the PT test. You'll see shifting start to happen. The core the hips start dropping. You're putting a lot of stress on the shoulder joints, and fingers crossed, no injuries happen. That's the best case scenario. So that's just something to be in mind. The minute failure starts happening, especially when you're training for the PT test, stop yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Save the training to failure for the actual event. All right, so my own training, just to give an insight of how I did this, I think I said I started training in August. It might have actually been July, specifically for the MCOLS fitness test. So I did on Monday. You could also do this on Friday. It depends on the frequency of training. I did and continue to do 3 days per week. So on Monday, I would test everything. We have a vertical jump, which I'm very fortunate because I work at a sports performance facility. So I'd test my vertical jump after a 15-minute warm-up. Then I'd do push-ups, sit-ups, and I would do the half-mile shuttle run at the very end of my entire workout. So I'd do my strength and power training and do the run afterwards. That way I wasn't tired to actually do my workout. When I mean by test, I didn't test my push-ups and sit-ups, all right? As I said before, I didn't do sit-ups until the last time I did sit-ups was when I got out of the Army. If I were to go in and test myself max on sit-ups, I would probably do something bad to a hip flexor or my back or tweak my neck. So I kind of gauged myself. So I was able to get, I think, near 20 before I started really gassing out. So what that did was help me plan for my future training, all right? So if you're going to do something like this, here's the example. So you come in on Monday, you do your vertical jump. If you don't have that, you can just do, I guess you can't just, if you got a marker or anything to test it, sweet. If you don't, just plan on using your jumps for your workout because that will help you get better. But for push-ups and sit-ups especially, I would go 3 sets. So maybe and this is if you give yourself time. So maybe I'd give 3 sets of 10 repetitions 1 week, and then in the next week I'd maybe go 1 set of 15 and 2 sets of 10, or you can go 3 sets of 12 to 15. You gradually add repetitions as you go. That's why you need to take time to prepare. People don't realize adaptations to training does not happen right away. It takes time. So I couldn't imagine when I was working on hockey, guys, if I had somebody come in, say, on August and go, I need to get ready for the hockey season. I have not done anything. Hockey starts in September. Like, we don't have anywhere to go. Like, all the important stuff we're not going to be able to train. And the big thing that would happen, say, like when I was with Muskegon, would be guys would get cut, guys would get traded, or guys would get hurt, and they just get released from the team. Again, it goes back to the importance of you have to take time to prepare for these events. So I'll go a little bit more detail on this. So kind of adding on the time. So how would I block off training? Again, you don't have to do this, but this is how I always do it and how I always recommend it, is 4-week training blocks. Every 4 weeks you kind of train something else. You give a priority goal, whether it be strength, power, or speed, or endurance. You focus on that one thing. You don't have to do that. I'll give you a little bit of help on that afterwards, but if you were to use that method, here's how you do it. So 4-week training cycle. Every 4th week is a deload week, so it's a very light workout. This is where you can do calisthenics or very light loads and never train to failure. It is to slowly let your body recover from the previous 3 weeks of training. Then when you come on that 5th week of training, you'll feel fresh and should be a little bit better from when you first started. Again, training, the adaptations take time. It's not immediate, so you have to give yourself time. So if I'm using those 4-week blocks and I'm taking plenty of time in advance, here's how I do it. So I'm just going to use 3 months. So month 1, I would allocate that entire month to strength development. Well, what is strength? Strength is using, if you want to get in technical terms of the strength and conditioning background here, it's anything over 80% of a 1 rep max. But for everybody else, it's just heavier loads. So that being said, it's not maxing out every day you go into the gym because I'm trying to get stronger, all right? So there are 3 ways you can get stronger. Lift maximal weight, lift submaximal weight, leaving a couple reps left in the tank, and lift with maximal intent. What does maximal intent mean? It means speed must be the most important part. So if I'm doing like a barbell back squat, for example, I go down, I need to come up as fast as I can, regardless of how heavy the weight is. You might be slow, but the intent is, if I'm using like metal plates, to get them to rattle. Those 3 things will help improve strength without running your body into the ground by doing sets of 3 to 5 and running your system to the ground. So going on to this, all right, if I'm training 3 days per week in a strength block, I'm going to use an undulating pattern. What does undulating mean? Undulating just means the intensity and the volume is going to vary from day to day. So I'm not going to come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday and train heavy on everything. I'm going to do the same thing as if I didn't train at all. I'm going to run my body into the ground, and injury's going to happen, and you're going to set yourself on the back burner. All right, so if I know anything above 80% is training for strength, well, one of those days, so Monday, I could go, this is going to be like a moderate workout. So I'm going to use like a moderate weight, something that's not too hard, but I can get a good training stimulus out of it. On Wednesday, that's going to be my heavy lift, so I might use loads that I can lift, like a deadlift, like sets of 3. And then on my Friday, I'm going to use something a little bit lighter. I'm going to keep my reps less than 5, and I'm going to train with maximal intent using moderate weights. So by doing that, you're not doing the same workout. You're providing a different training stimulus for your body, and you are saving your body from beating the hell by the time that 4-week block comes. And this is going to apply for every month. You do the same type of undulating pattern. So month 2 would be more power-based. So this is more focused on plyometrics, sprints. Again, plyometrics are your jumps, single leg hops, that type of stuff. I'm a big proponent of the Olympic lifts. If you do not know how to do an Olympic lift, I would stay away from them. They are very highly technical, and it is a great way to hurt yourself. If you're going to look on YouTube, great teaching places, I think Catalyst Athletics, they do a very good job demonstrating and really breaking down the Olympic lifts. Aside from training explosive power, they are good at injury prevention because you explosively lift the load and you explosively have to decelerate that load. Very important for injury prevention. So power is using loads less than 80%. So we're using more moderate loads. I'd use the same concept, all right? So Monday is going to be my little bit heavier, but being power is not really on heavy loads. On Wednesday, I'm going to use something probably that I used on my Monday of my strength block, if that makes sense. And then Friday, I'm going to go a little bit lighter and focus on maximal intent. I am moving the weight as fast as I can. I didn't talk about set and rep schemes here. So this can apply to your strength and power. So for month 1 and month 2. So if I'm using strength, I can go anywhere from, you can go more than 6 sets, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Up to 6 sets, 1 to 5 reps for your training sets. Keep it in those reps, because what happens, the more reps you start to do, fatigue starts to set in, and what happens? Maximal intent and power output goes out the window. You are not doing yourself any favor. So if you're doing a strength block and on that heavy Wednesday, you're grinding through your reps, you can't come up with a decent amount of speed, or you're groaning and shifting all over the place trying to get it up, you need to drop the weight. You're going to hurt yourself, and you are going to run your nervous system into the ground. Those set and rep schemes can apply to your power days as well. Again, if I'm training for power, we're using less than 5 reps because fatigue sets in, power output goes down. If I'm trying to train for power and I'm training under fatigue, doesn't make any sense, does it? Unfortunately, you see a lot of that on like bodybuilding.com and a lot of the CrossFit workouts. Training for time when you're trying to improve power output, and you're turning into a conditioning exercise. Well, your power output is going down, and you are not training for power output. You are training metabolic conditioning, which is a whole different beast. Month number 3. So the last one, this would be closest to the physical fitness test, is endurance. So this is specific to that. You have a whole month to prepare for training for that. So I talked about the Monday coming on, doing push-ups, sit-ups, and stuff like that. You could do that month 1, month 2, and month 3. The other way to do that would be to put it on your third day. So our last training day of the week was always our highest volume one. So if you wanted to do your push-ups, your sit-ups, and stuff on your high volume training, because that's what you're doing for everything else, that is fine, and that makes perfect sense. I just did it on Monday because I was perfectly fresh, and I know my numbers wouldn't be skewed. All right, so endurance specific. So here's where new different training, I guess it's not new training, but new to me is I've been stuck with athletics for so long. Strength and power dominated everything, so that's what we focused on. What I've been doing for myself, it's called every minute on the minute training, and it keeps things from getting monotonous or boring because there's so many different ways you could do it, and it keeps you accountable for time in the work in the gym. So when I come in there, I got like 50 minutes. All right, well, how I break up my exercise and stuff like that by how many sets I want to do, it allocates that, makes it easy. So I know what all I can get done without kind of going, well, I got to spend hopefully 15 to 20 minutes here while I'm doing my Olympics and stuff. That doesn't happen with every minute on the minute. So that being said, my endurance, I'm using lighter weights and mostly body weight type of stuff. So training for time, because we're using lighter loads and you have a solid foundation from your strength and power training, the chances of injury are significantly reduced because of that. So every minute on the minute, how does it work? So if you were to do, and there's many ways you could do it. So every minute on the minute, all right? I'm just going to give an example of 2 exercises. So you set up, I use an app called, I think it's WOD 365. I don't do CrossFit, but it has many great timers on there for Tabata, as many rounds as possible, all that stuff. So that's a good app to use. But I'm just going to use this example, all right? Say I'm going to do a back squat with a vertical jump, all right? So timer starts, I knock out 3 reps of squats, and then I rest for the entire duration until the alarm goes off, and then I do whatever, 3 to 5 jumps, and then I rest and repeat that for as many rounds as I put on there. You can do that the entire workout, pairing exercises. That's what I did. So I do a heavy loaded squat with a jump, and then I do like a hip hitch, so like a single leg RDL or an RDL with a broad jump. So I'm training both strength and power. That is another thing you can do. It actually improves power performance by doing that. And then I would do like an upper body, so I'll do like a push press with pull-ups. Short and sweet, and then I'd finish off with my run. So my half mile shuttle run. One thing I forgot to talk about on this half mile shuttle run, it's, when you periodize training or add volume, if you haven't done the half mile shuttle run before, or if it's been a while, if you've done it, same concept applies to when you program for push-ups and sit-ups, right? So the half mile shuttle run is 15 down and back laps. Well, I can start off with, say, 6, and then every week or every 2 weeks add more. So go 6 down and back, 8 down and back, 10, etc., if that makes sense. Because then you are adding volume and you're not smoking your body into the ground right away. It gives it time to adjust to it, and then by the time when you do that, starting off with month 1, by the time month 3 ends, you should be at that 15, and it should be pretty easy. You should be able to smoke it when you get to the actual test. All right, so I was talking about the every minute on the minute, which is fine. You can do that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if you want, and get great results with that. But remember, we're also in an endurance thing, so I like to use every minute on the minute for my Monday, Wednesday workouts when strength and power type stuff is more important. And on Friday, my day 3, it's called Tabata, all right? So Tabata, using time increments, it's high intensity interval training is what it is. And you can set the duration of the workout, the rest workout, or the rest time to whatever you want, but traditionally it is 20 seconds on of an exercise followed by 10 seconds of rest. Now, how it originally was supposed to be done is you do one exercise for 8 rounds doing that. But what happens when fatigue sets in? Chances of injury goes up, all right? So if I'm doing squats, even if I'm using a light load and I'm doing 20 seconds on, as many reps as I can, say with like 95 pounds on the bar, and I'm repping them out, 10 seconds rest, and I repeat, heart rate's going to be through the roof, but you're going to be groaning and moving all over the place, so the chance of injury is probably going to go up there. So I like to pair exercises. I would not do a jump because you are going to fry your legs. So I would do, say, barbell back squat, and you can do like a pulling, an upper body exercise. I would do an upper body pulling, whether it be dumbbell rows. So 20 seconds on, as many squats as you can, 10 seconds to rest. Then you go on rows or pull-ups, as many as you can get in 20 seconds, 10 seconds to rest, and you go back to squats. You would do each exercise 4 times, giving you 8 rounds. And you can do that for, so lower body squat with an upper body pull, and then you do a lower body hip exercise, such as like a hip lift or RDL with a upper body push exercise. So that could be push-ups or overhead presses, that type of stuff. I like that way of training because it gets the heart rate up and it trains you metabolic conditioning. So you do not have to do it this way. If you are solely want to focus on endurance, you could do that Tabata style on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you will be good to go for the academy. I would just make sure, or not for the academy, but for the MCOLS fitness test, or whatever fitness test you got. Again, it has to be specific to those events. So if push-ups, sit-ups, and the half-mile shuttle run are something I know I'm going to be doing, well, for my Tabata intervals, I could put push-ups in there, and then I could do like squat jumps. So 20 seconds on squat jumps, 10 seconds rest, and I got 20 seconds of push-ups. I repeat that for 8 total rounds, so 4 sets per each exercise. That will specifically prepare you for the academy. The good thing about the Tabata stuff too is if your form starts going out, sit in the rest position or whatever. Again, save training to failure for the actual test. So what helps with the Tabata thing is, say if I'm doing my 20 seconds, I'm just going to use push-ups. So I got 15 push-ups. All right, well, sweet. When that comes down, I want to match it or I want to do better. There is always that intent. It's going to be hard because fatigue starts to set in, but it's a mental toughness thing. And when you're going through the academy, especially, which I'm about to find out here in in about a week, but like the fitness test, when you're training that out, so many people quit well before they should. They can knock out many more reps than they think they can. It's a mind over matter type thing, and that really does exist. So that is how I would train for the MCOLS fitness test. Later on, I'll put more on the actual website, and this might be something to subscribe to, but like actual workout plans to follow, even the training that I did to prepare myself. I'm 35, so here's what I did with the just to give an idea for the MCOLS fitness test. My vertical jump at 21.5, which was subpar for me. I think I was doing like 24 inches when I was doing my training. I did 52 push-ups, 42 sit-ups, and I ran my half-mile shuttle run in 14 minutes. I was okay with those. I want them to be better, but that's fine. It's passing. So if you're giving yourself 1 month, only 1 month to prepare for this, endurance is going to be the biggest thing. Unfortunately, you're going to set yourself up for be a higher risk for injury. Not saying you're guaranteed to hurt yourself. You're just going to be at a higher risk for that. You could do kind of like what I just talked about, this endurance phase. You can do, it's called undulating, not only volume and intensity, but it's called undulating periodization. So I can allocate a performance parameter to each day. So on Monday I come in, I'm going to train for strength, so I'm going to lift heavier loads. On Wednesday I'm going to train for power, so I'm going to do more jumps, Olympic type lifts, or I'm going to lift a moderate weight and have the maximal intent be the number one thing, so I'm going to move it fast. And then on Friday I'm going to do endurance training, so I'm going to do whether it be every minute on the minute or Tabata type style training. That way you are training all 3 of those. Is it optimal? Probably not, but it's going to help you. And it's probably going to be better than having, say, somebody going with only a month of training and doing Tabata on every day of the week. Because if you don't have any type of training background and you're going full-blown 20 seconds on as many reps as you can, your body's not going to handle that, and it's not going to bode well for you. When we're talking about those power events, so the vertical jump, you need to have a strength foundation to improve that. And ultimately, that strength is going to help for your runs too, because when it comes to running, more so for sprinting, but it still plays an aspect of it for our endurance runs, is when you're sprinting or when you're running, all right, how fast you go is determined by how much force you can put in the ground. So that's why strength training and plyometrics are so important. That's why when you look at when we're going to talk a little bit about lifting here, but you look at somebody who's a power lifter, so they could squat 600 pounds, but they do it really slow. They probably suck as an athlete, or they would probably suck as a law enforcement officer. That's just my assumption based on the experience and based what science would say, all right? If you're not training with maximal intent, or you're not training for speed, you're not doing plyometrics, that type of stuff to be specific to the things you're going to be doing, well, you're not going to get any benefit out of it, or you're going to have a small carryover to it. So if you want to improve your run speeds, you need to do strength training, you need to do plyometrics. If you want to improve your vertical jump, you need to do strength training, you need to do plyometrics. If you need to do push-ups, sit-ups for endurance, you also should be doing strength training, because it's going to reduce your chance of injury. When your ligaments, your tendons, and your muscles are capable of handling higher loads, you're only setting yourself up for success. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up right here. If anyone has any questions specifically geared towards training or how I can help them out more, I would love to be able to use my strength and conditioning background, because I'm going to maintain these credentials that I have for my law enforcement career. I would love to help you out in any way that I can. My big things for you: train smart, train hard, and listen to your body. So if you have a training week where you feel sick or you feel like crap, it is okay to back off, because you are only going to make it worse on your body by going, fuck it, I'm going to go squat, heavy loads, and then wonder why I'm not recovering, or, oh man, this weight feels heavier than it did. Yeah, because your body's under stress. You need to back off to let it recover. I hope all that makes sense. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on the road law@gmail.com. Thanks for your support. Thank you for listening to On the Road, a law enforcement journey. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to be on the show, email me at ontheroadlaw@gmail.com. And please share this podcast. Thank you.